Well, was that any fun or what? Max Scherzer strikes out 13. Cody Glover gets Hunter Renfroe on a 96-mile-an-hour cutter to end it, and the Nationals win on a Friday night in Washington 5-1. That might have been the most single dominating performance from a Nationals pitcher this year. I thought Strasburg's performance on Sunday was pretty good, but this really takes the cake. My goodness, 108 pitches and 13 strikeouts. He hit a batter at the end off the foot. They came in with Glover to get the last out, and he got the last out. And so that's how you do it. So it didn't even take 2.5 hours to play. It's only 9:34 as we do this live. So Mad Max wins this on an easy 5-1, and another big night. Harper and Taylor with massive home runs. Taylor put one in the red porch seats, and Harper put one in the third deck in right field. Yeah, I think they're all right, don't you? Let's go through the totals as my cat tries to eat a bag of candy. Scherzer with a win. He goes to 5-3 on the year. Perdomo, who pitched pretty well for San Diego, goes to 0-2, and Cody Glover is the closer, and he picks up his fourth save of the year. The bases were loaded for Renfroe, and he struck him out. That's actually the first final today in Major League Baseball. Trey Turner went 2 for 4. He homered, and he doubled. And reached on a two-base error. They did not give him a second double, so he goes to 2 for 4, but really was 3 for 4. Jason Worth drew a walk. Bryce Harper with a bomb. Oh my goodness, he just absolutely crushed that ball for a home run to right field. 407 feet was the estimate, but if there wasn't a deck there, I mean, that was a 500-foot shot. The launch angle is 36 degrees. Matt Wiener's 2 for 4, a single and a double. As we said, Michael Taylor went 1 for 4 with a big 2-run homer. But all that, but the story of the game is Max Scherzer, 8 2/3 innings. He threw a 3-hitter. He gave up a 1 home run. That was to Schimpf in the 4th inning, a solo shot. He walked 2, one of those coming in the 9th, and he struck out 13. Cody Glover faced 1 batter and retired him by way of the K. Extra base hits for Washington tonight. Rendon with a double off Perdomo, his 9th. Turner with a double off Perdomo, his 10th. And Wieters with a double off Perdomo, his 8th. And as we said, the homers, Turner in the first leadoff homer of the year for Washington. Taylor, who, as I said, put one in the red porch seats in left center. That ball was just hammered. And then Harper, 2-run bomb in the 7th, really to put it away to make the score 5-1. Not as hard as the 450-foot shot he put into the batter's eye the other night, but pretty close. Runners in scoring position. The Nats went 1 for 8 tonight, and they straightened at 7. Oh, yeah, Jason Worth had a stolen base. That's pretty good. So Scherzer, 108 pitches, and get this, he threw 81 strikes to 27 balls. 81 strikes. Cody Glover threw 4 pitches and 3 strikes. That's just dominant stuff, and that's what you expect to see. With the win, they go to 29-18 on the year and hold a very comfortable lead in the National League East. And if you got something to say it in the live chat. If you're watching live, we'll answer your questions or whatever. But, during the game itself, just talking about how dominant Scherzer looked. So much better than he did in his last start. And Ricky Keeler was right. I think he was feeling the effects of taking one off the back of the knee in that second game of that Mother's Day doubleheader, because he threw 106 pitches and couldn't get out of the fifth inning. But tonight he threw two more pitches and came one out away from the first complete game since his 20 strikeout performance last August. So, I mean, this is why Max makes the big money, and by goodness, did he ever deliver tonight. So, just absolutely wonderful stuff. There are no negatives at all to take care of this. If you thought Harper might have been hurt after getting hit on the hand, he just that home run he hit to right field was just absolutely nuked. And Taylor's home run, I mean, whoever was it that suggested last week that Taylor should be treated? I mean, come on, think about this again. When he makes contact, the ball gets hammered. He's got great speed. He's got great defense. He's working around the strikeouts, and that's really all that matters. So the Judo Joker, my favorite player was amazing today. As much as I love Mad Max, can we also use immaculate? Oh, I like that. Since he threw an immaculate inning. He came close tonight, Judo. I believe in the fifth tonight, he threw 11 pitches and struck out the side. Immaculate. I like that. I like that. He had an immaculate performance. And, you know, my favorite part of Scherzer is when he's starting to tire. And you saw this in the eighth inning tonight. And he gets to stalking the mound. And you can just tell if you go up to there, you know, it's reminiscent of what the stories you read about Bob Gibson and Don Drysdale at points where if their own mother dug in against them in the box, they'd throw at them. They'd throw at her. You know, that's what Scherzer reminds me of. When Spire went out to see if Max wanted to face that second out, and Max told him words you can't say in public, you know, in a mixed setting, or especially in front of kids. I mean, that's the fire you want to see. When he hit the batter afterwards, he was ready to come out. His tank was empty, but he was at 108 pitches. You just love it when he puts it in that extra gear. 96, 97 in the ninth inning, just giving it all he has and doing it. On the topics of Max, do you think the comparisons made to Nolan Ryan are fair? Clarify that one for me, because Ryan's control was never as good as Max's are right now. How solid are his Hall of Fame chances? I'd say they're pretty solid. You know, he's a relatively young pitcher in his early 30s. He's, you know, he has good prime years ahead of him. When you are tied with Clayton Kershaw for active pitching records, that's a pretty good indication of how good you are. No one's getting 300 wins in this day and age unless they pitch for 20, 25 years. I would think that, personally, Judo, I would think that a World Series win or a big playoff game would go along with his chances. He's certainly up there with one of the most, you know, I think he ranks up there with Gibson and Drysdale and Pedro Martinez as I want the ball in my hands and I'm going to win you the game type stuff. And you're going to take the ball from me over my cold, dead body. His numbers, to me, you take a look, you say about late bloomers, and I think of Kurt Schilling. You know, Max hasn't had that cold run in the middle of his career that Schilling had. He's been pretty consistent. When you win Cy Youngs in two different leagues, in fact, with Scherzer in Detroit, he wasn't even the ace going into that year. That was, you know, Justin Verlander. So I would think that he gets in when all is said and done. His resume needs some more padding, obviously. 3,000 strikeouts probably will do that. But I don't see why you wouldn't put Max in the Hall of Fame, because, as you said, he has games like this that are absolutely immaculate. Hope I used that correctly in a sentence. Also, second favorite player, Trey Turner, looking to be swinging well again. You know what? I tweeted this during the game. I think it was the Nationals on mass and had a still shot at him, or maybe it was a GIF smiling in the dugout after that home run. We really haven't seen that this year, and that really, to me, was a big moment. He looks relaxed. His defense is very good, but I really think, especially after the Eaton injury, that he pressed coming off the disabled list. He had that great series against Colorado, and then kind of pressing that leadoff spot. I think as he relaxes and lets Jason Worth have those long at bats, so he can steal some bases. I mean, really, he should have had 3 hits tonight. I'm not sure he beats out, or he doesn't beat out, that sharp grounder to third that was ruled a 2-base error. If you want to do a single and error on that, I might not have a problem with that. But I think a throw to first would not have been in time. And so, yeah, I agree. There's lots of good things happening right now. Coda Glover came in a high leverage situation and threw a 95-mile-an-hour slider and a 96-mile-an-hour cutter to Hunter Renfroe. He has 9 homers on the year, but he's hitting .238. Still, that's what you want to see as we go through. Comes in, does a no-muss, no-fuss save, and with the game on the line and the place on fire. I mean, I'm not kidding. This really was, to me, the loudest that Nationals Park has been all year. Not the biggest crowd. It was 28,606, but the loudest. They really got into this. It just oozed the television set. And, sitting here watching it, it really pumps you up and pumps me up as someone who's there tweeting it all. So, yeah, I just all sorts of good stuff. Yes, it's the Padres. Yes, they are a quad A team at best. I mean, they have 3 Rule 5 players on their active roster, but they took 2 out of 3 from the Mets. So you can't say, well, it's expected. It's just one of those games that you kind of, when Max pitched the last time, you kind of hope for the best. But tonight, you just had that sense going in. This is going to be a good night. And, yeah, it was between Harper's moonshot to right and Max and Glover with the save. That's big. That really is a big deal. I've said this before. Depending on how well he does, you may not need to trade for a closer. You're going to need a bullpen piece, I think, but you may not need to trade for a closer. And that would be so huge for this team. If they can keep all their top prospects that they have left, because really, yes, Giolito threw the no-hitter last night for Charlotte in the 7-inning game. Yeah, you do that trade again for Adam Eaton the second. What you saw that first month from Eaton was pretty incredible. Kershaw, Judo Joker says, is pretty consensus number 1 active pitcher. I'm not going to argue that. There are times that you wonder if he's a robot. Max is a strong candidate for second best. Up for discussion, though. Yeah, I mean, he won the Cy Young Award last year, partially because Kershaw's back bothered him. You can make the argument for some other pitchers, but Scherzer's game last time out wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. It was average, and so when you only come out with average stuff, and you make you wonder, that just shows you how good they are. Thanks for using the term immaculate. You'll have to remind me of that one again, or Ricky, when he does the show, because I like that. The immaculate Scherzer. Didn't do this earlier. Let's go through the rest of the division. Mets are ahead of the Pirates 8-1 in the bottom of the 8th. Neil Walker, 2 home runs for the Amazons. Miami leads the Angels 8-3 in the the top of the 8th inning. And Atlanta is on the West Coast. They play the Giants at 10:15. One final in the books. It was also in the division. The Philadelphia Phillies are just, I feel bad. I feel bad for them because I know how plucky they can be. The Reds beat them tonight 5-4. the 2, but things are just not good right now for Philadelphia. What are the Orioles doing? The Orioles are down 1-0 to the Houston Altuves in the top of the 6th. Anything else catching me by surprise tonight? Detroit and Chicago, the White Sox, they were supposed to play doubleheader. First game was rained out, and at 9:30 they finally started the only game they were playing. So first place Rockies are up on the Cardinals 2-0, and Arizona leads the first place Brewers 1-0 in the top of the 6th. Because I don't need to shout for that. All right, so let's take a look at the minor leagues. Bottom of the 6th, this is the only game in progress. Wilmington and Potomac, second game of a doubleheader, and they are tied at 2. Earlier this evening, the Gwinnett Braves beat the Syracuse Chiefs 6-2 in Gwinnett. A.J. Cole takes a loss 1-2 with a 6.03 ERA, but the Gwinnett big runs came. They scored 3 in the 8th. Harrisburg beat Richmond tonight 5-2. Brindley with the win. He goes to 3-2 with a 2.82 ERA. Suaro with the save is 8th. Lisson with 1 homer is 3rd, and Soto with the 7th in the winning effort for Harrisburg. First game of the doubleheader between Potomac and Wilmington. Potomac wins 3-2. The Bourne Project goes to 1-0 with no ERA. Mendez with the save is 3rd. No homers for Potomac. And West Virginia downed Hagerstown in the first game of their twin bill 2-1. Sharp with a loss, 2-3 with a 4.12 ERA. Johnson with his 10th homer of the year for Hagerstown. In the second game of the doubleheader, Hagerstown gets the split. They win 5-2. Howard with the win, 2-0 on the year with a 5.97 ERA. Noyce with his 5th homer, and Beckwith with his 2nd. So a good night for the Baby Nats. Looking on Twitter, and I'm loving the Weeders edition is what Ridgely says on Twitter. Yeah, I do too. I mean, he was coming into the night hitting 364. Does not have a 12-game hitting streak. Remember, he pinch hit the other day and was out. But he's got hits in 11 out of his last 13 games, and is hitting coming into the day at home at 364. They've got to find a way to make him stay. I mean, that just is absolutely amazing. The pitchers love throwing to him, and it's like they built the part for him, for goodness sake. He really just loves it. Let's see. Judo Joker says it may be the Padres, but Max did strike out Will Myers and induce a double play in the other at bat. Yeah, Myers kind of looked discombobulated tonight, but Scherzer's stuff was just right on the money, and you're just going to look overmatched at times. And remember, I said this in the preview piece today, Will Myers is probably the most important Washington Nationals player who never wore the uniform. Ricky chimes in, only a couple of games, but Glover looks a lot more confident. He came in tonight. It was a save situation. It was one of those that you would kind of, in the back of your mind, were holding your breath. I mean, you're still buzzing from all of the stuff that Scherzer did, and it was a 4-pitch strikeout. And, it's a 95-mile-an-hour slider for strike 2, and then a 96-mile-an-hour cutter that just absolutely exploded with movement. I mean, it was an absolute filthy pitch, and it worked. And so, he's got the mohawk thing going on, got some tats on his arm. Let's be honest, this job should have been his coming out of camp. This is a team that lets the veterans do their things first. But, yeah, I mean, in the 2 save situations that Glover has been in, Rick, he's slammed the door. It's been really no question, and that's exactly what you want to see. And again, just like we saw earlier this week with Strasburg's effort and then Roark's effort, you're letting the bullpen rest, saving it for the nights that they really need it. Again, take the pressure off of them. Scherzer gave everything he had. He was not overstretched. He pitched to exactly the right number of batters. So I believe, I did the preview. If you want to go back through and keep the 5 players to watch, I talked a bit about Cota becoming the closer. Bryce Harper, apparently his fingers weren't really hurt. I still think he probably sits a game this weekend after fouling a pitch off his hand in the Thursday afternoon game. We look at Brad Hand, who might be worth a look for as the Padres get to the trade deadline, and the ageless Jason Worth, who steals his 4th base of the year. And hats off to Lucas Giolito for his no-hitter last night. This is a 7-inning one. Just tells you that Syracuse needs some retooling. But still, come back to the team that you played with last year and no-hit them. That's pretty good. So, unless anyone else has anything else to say, give this video a like. Subscribe to us on YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook. We post this. Ricky, I'm sure, will be posting this and some highlights for you to watch, including Harper's big kaboom. On Twitter, it's District on Deck. We live tweet every game. Ricky's with you tomorrow afternoon at 4:05. And Ricky and Drew Douglas will be with you for the post-game show, as it's Star Wars Day tomorrow. Yesterday was the 40th anniversary of that, which means I was 5 years old when that movie came out. And then Sunday, of course, it's Memorial Day against the Padres and yoga in the outfield, 1:35. And Bob Carpenter hopefully will be doing some yoga, and I really can't wait to see the pictures of him doing some stretches. So and of course, the website itself is districtondeck.com, and we update it twice a day at least. The big news coming into the game was today, didn't get to that. Then they signed Ryan Rayburn, or traded for Ryan Rayburn for cash considerations. It's not polite to say that one player was sold to another team, or the infamous player to be named later. So there could be something actually going to them, to the Chicago White Sox, but basically traded for cash for Rayburn. Chris Heisey did rupture his bicep, but it's not as bad as it sounds. I do not think he's going to need surgery, and he probably will not miss the rest of the year. But Rayburn's there for insurance, certainly probably a better option right now than Brian Goodwin, who's riding the Syracuse Express. Rafael Bautista is hurt. So that's it for us for tonight. Ricky and Drew will talk to you around between 6:30 and 7 o'clock tomorrow night, and then I'll be back with you on Sunday for the end of the series. Until then, for Ricky Keeler and the rest of the staff at District on Deck, I'm Ron Juckett. Have a very good Friday night.